I am NetMoverSitan. This will cover the additional taints in the first taint room. But firstly, I need to mention something I missed with the vanilla taints. When you eat something while having the gluttony taint, it doesn't just give you a temporary buff, it also increases the passive synergy boost by 1 for each food item you eat, which builds up as you go through the sanctuary and get hungry as, well, we need to eat at some point. Now that we've got that cleared up and amended, let's move on to the next 2 taints. The taints that got added after the initial release of Soulblight. Right. Here it goes. Have you ever wanted to be afraid of even the slightest injuries, where even the slightest cut can be perceived as lethal? Then there's a taint for you, added after the vanilla version was released. It's Hypochondriac, a partial version of the Reckless taint. Partial because it doesn't make you weaker temporarily with each enemy that you attract the attention of. Convenient, isn't it? This taint gives you a huge synergy boost, which can make it easier to destroy those that stand in your way. Some of you might be asking, what's the catch? Quite a big one actually, as hypochondria is a belief that any injury, or at least a perceived injury, is worse than it actually is. Yeah. That's how bad it can be perceived in reality. With each injury that you take, the synergy boost lessens until it's gone completely, until the injury is treated. Depending on the injury, of course, so you might want to carry a good amount of medical supplies with you if you want to get rid of the injuries quickly. Yeah, outside of battle it's best to get rid of them sooner rather than later with this taint, because it can bite you in the rear fairly quickly if you don't get on top of it. Although the same can be said for any injury. Any real injury, to be more precise. Right. Anything else I can talk about this? Oh yes. What taints go with this? Fierce is to be avoided, as that depends on getting injured to trigger the benefits, rather than avoiding it. Conniving and acquisitive, that's more useful. The former can help with getting medical supplies from chests, or at least a chance of getting them. Acquisitive can help to lessen the impact of the injury debuff. Unquenchable depends on what character you want to make. I prefer not to use it myself. Now we move on to the third taint room taints. Vengeful, if you can parry well, this can help to avoid damage and injury. Greedy, similar to Acquisitive, that can lessen the injury debuff impacts. Abusive, ingesting soul dust before a fight, this should help make a difference with ending the fight quicker. Obsessed, depends on what amount of items you have. It can be just as much a help as it can be a hindrance. Right, now for the fourth set of taints. Bloodthirsty, that might make injury more likely. Use your best judgment on that one. Paranoid, sneaking around, that might be useful, but keep a lost soul on standby to get rid of the debuff. Thievish, random, but it might help you get more medical supplies. Fanatical, that might result in you destroying medical supplies for being impure, so that might be a hindrance. Exercise caution with that one. As the creator of Soulblight, Jakub Lizinski puts it, this one is something for speedrunners. So, if you want to move through the game as if you were a certain anthropomorphic blue hedgehog, then this taint is for you. It's impatience. And it should say what it says on the... well, I'll go for it anyway. Aside from increase to maximum agility, it also gives a huge synergy boost. Unfortunately, the synergy boost slowly reduces over time. So the clock is ticking! And it's recommended that you just move on as soon as you find the missing part needed to move forward. Because the longer you take, the weaker you become. Let's see. Conniving works best with this, as it's about working faster, and the synergy boost is based on how little you're carrying. Fierce might work if you need to engage in battle. Unquenchable might be more a hindrance than a help, as it depends on booze being available. Acquisitive is the worst for this, as the more that is carried, the heavier you are, and the slower you become. As for the third taint room, Vengeful, only if you can parry well. Greedy, not that useful for similar reasons as Acquisitive. Abusive, useful for when direct confrontation is unavoidable. Obsessed, again depends on the number of items you carry. Bloodthirsty, that's useful in battle as it depends on killing quickly. Paranoid, avoid as it depends on sneaking in the shadows, which is slow. Thievish and fanatical, it can be useful for gaining a synergy boost on the way to the missing parts. Right. As the final taint room, those are... not that distinctive, really. At least to me. Mostly utility than anything. Get Soulless if you want to get that special armor from that special vending machine. Plain God if you want to make rare items from animals. That's your call. Sadistic and cannibalism would seem to be useful for a pre-battle buff. Until next time, hail the rabbit!